Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more real-life, emotional stories and share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear how you would have reacted to this one. I was ready to leave her. Every fiber of my being told me that the time had come to walk out, to stop hoping for a love that had started to feel like a lie. I had rehearsed it in my head for weeks, packing a bag, calling a friend to stay with, sending one final cold text. I can't do this anymore. Then it happened. One conversation stopped me cold. It started, as it often did, with the small, almost invisible signs. Missed calls in the middle of the night. Text deleted too quickly when I walked into the room. The phone buzzing softly on her nightstand, her eyes darting away when I glanced at the screen. I kept asking myself, am I imagining this? Am I being paranoid? I wanted to believe her. I truly did. But doubt had settled over me like fog. The woman I had loved for years, the one whose laughter had been my favorite sound, was suddenly a stranger. And my instincts, the ones I'd ignored before, were screaming at me that something was wrong. One evening I stayed late at work, telling myself it was just overtime, that she'd understand. But when I got home she was gone. The apartment smelled faintly of perfume that wasn't hers. A folded note lay on the counter, her handwriting familiar but somehow foreign in its neatness. Out with a friend. Don't wait up. A friend. Of course. But there was a chill in my chest I couldn't shake. That night I searched for answers in the quiet, the texts, the apps, the subtle cues that had been mounting like breadcrumbs leading to a cliff. And the truth I found was a splinter in my heart. She had been seeing someone else. I wanted to scream. I wanted to confront her, demand every detail, every lie, every stolen moment. But I didn't. I wanted control. I wanted my dignity intact. So I sat in silence, letting the reality sink in. The next week was torture. I replayed memories like old films. Her smile at breakfast, the way she held my hand in the car, her whispered "I love you" in the dark, they all felt like lies now. I questioned myself constantly. Was I not enough? Had I failed somehow? Or had she always been this person and I'd been blind? I finally resolved to leave. That Saturday morning I packed a small bag, leaving behind the remnants of a life that felt like it belonged to someone else. My phone sat on the counter. I was ready to send the text that would shatter the last fragile thread of our life together. And then she came into the living room, the sunlight hitting her hair just so, and sat across from me. She didn't reach for me. She didn't cry. She just looked at me, her eyes wide, her lips slightly trembling. "I know what you're thinking," she said softly. Her voice, once comforting now tinged with fear, stopped me mid-motion. I froze, hands hovering over the zipper of my bag. "You're ready to leave," she continued. "And maybe you should. Maybe you should walk away from all of this. But there's something I need to tell you. Something I should have told you months ago." I didn't move. I didn't trust the words, but I needed to hear them. "I made a mistake," she said, and my heart thumped violently. I was distant. I said I was overworked. I said I needed space. And I did meet someone else. But not the way you think. I felt a cold knot tighten in my stomach. He was just someone I talked to. Someone I thought I cared about when we were drifting. But when I saw you tonight, when I saw what I was about to lose, I realized it wasn't them. It was me. I was lost and I almost destroyed us. But I can't. I don't want to. I wanted to believe her. Part of me did. But the other part, the part that had rehearsed leaving, told me this was too little, too late. Too convenient. My trust had been shattered. The foundation of our relationship splintered beyond recognition. And yet, I couldn't deny the raw, aching truth of her confession. There was guilt there. Regret. And in her eyes I saw the same love I had once cherished, struggling to surface through the wreckage she had created. I sat there breathing heavily, the weight of my anger, confusion, and heartbreak pressing down on me. I realized then that leaving in haste would only ruin us both. Sometimes it's not the betrayal itself, but the conversation that follows, the truth laid bare, that changes everything. We spent hours talking that day, not just about what had happened but about us, about why we had drifted, about what we had lost and what we still had. It was painful, yes. Humiliating sometimes. But it was real. And in reality, sometimes love survives not because of perfection, but because of the courage to face the worst moments together. In the weeks that followed, things were not easy. Trust had to be rebuilt, carefully, like piecing together shards of glass. I stayed vigilant, yes, but I also allowed myself to see the person I had loved, the one who had made a mistake but now wanted to make it right. I learned to speak, to listen, and most importantly, to forgive in a way that didn't erase the pain, but allowed us both to heal. Looking back, I realize now that the decision to stay wasn't about weakness. It wasn't about clinging to a broken dream. It was about understanding that love is complicated, and that sometimes one conversation can stop you cold. Not to punish, but to awaken you to what truly matters. We didn't emerge unscathed. Nothing in life erases betrayal completely, but I learned the power of patience, of listening, and of confronting the truth, no matter how painful. And in that, I found a strength I hadn't known I possessed. A quiet, resilient love that had survived because we dared to talk honestly, without shame or pretense. So if you've ever stood on the edge, ready to walk away from someone you love, remember this. Sometimes the moment that stops you cold isn't about the mistakes. They're about the choices you make afterward. Choose wisely, and never forget that self-respect, honesty, and the courage to face the truth can lead to a love stronger than the fear that once threatened to destroy it.